it's Amy Scott Grant. They call me the spiritual ass kicker. And I want to talk to you today about charging for healing work. Dun, dun, dun. I don't know. For some reason, it seems like a lot of people get hung up on this because I hear about it all the time, right? Maybe you figured out you have a gift. Maybe you finally figured out what that gift is. Maybe you're still experimenting with that gift, whether it's physical healings or changing someone's aesthetics energetically, or maybe it's emotional healings or whatever. But it's like, okay, you've figured out you've got some skills, but maybe you're having trouble transitioning into actually creating that as a career. So I'm going to give you some tips on what the hangups seem to be for most people when they look at going into healing as a business. The first is this idea that it's not okay to get paid for spiritual work. I know, I'm sort of rolling my eyes, but a lot of people have this belief like, well, this is God's work and this is the work of spirit and this belongs to everyone and blah, blah, blah. Well, you know what? You might argue that anybody who's doing their job really, really, really well is doing it from a place of spirit, right? Like the best accountant in the world is very connected to source. And that's why he or she can catch all the errors and find all the tax savings and do everything perfectly, right? It's because of that connection to source and their love of numbers. Should you not have to pay your accountant? Should they just do it for free because they're so connected to spirit? That's crazy, right? That's insane. Why would they do that? Anybody who's doing their job and doing it really, really well deserves to get paid for it. And you are no different. It doesn't matter if you're doing healing work, but that's definitely a hang up that people pay. Like, well, if it's spiritual work, doesn't that belong to everyone? Now I'm going to give you a role model to go look up and research a little bit about. Michael Beckwith. Have you heard of him? He was in The Secret. He's that gorgeous black man with the braids. He has like the long braids. I know. Ladies, he's taken. So, no. But he has a church in California called Agape. I think he actually pronounces it agape. I don't know. But it's a Latin word. So I guess there's some leeway on what the appropriate pronunciation is, seeing as all the people that speak that are basically dead. So we can't really ask him. Anyway, he has this amazing church and the church is so prosperous. See, I believe that this belief that so many people carry that say it's not okay to get paid for spiritual work, that's the reason a lot of churches are broke, like flat out broke. They don't have money. The AC goes out. They have to beg the church members to give money. Well, you know what? If you keep preaching it's spiritual to be poor, don't be mad when nobody's a tithing, okay? Because you're not teaching a true principle of money, which is that life is abundant, God is abundant, you are abundant, and you can have as much money as you actually want. Right? Michael Beckwith is crystal clear on this perspective, and that's why his alternative church, I call it alternative because if you sort of bristle at the idea of church, then alternative churches are, well, for example, like Unity is basically a church based on self-healing and the law of attraction, right? Science of Mind. Is it still called Science of Mind? Practical? No, it's called, they changed their name. It's called Center for Spiritual Living. Yeah, Science of Mind, I think, was trying to distance themselves from Scientology because they were not connected. And so it's called Center for Spiritual Living. That's another alternative church, right? And Michael Beckwith's church very much along the lines of that. It's like you co-create your reality, and here's how to do that in more amazing ways, right? And because he is very clear about abundance and prosperity, that's what he preaches at his church, and therefore it's a very abundant and thriving church. So if you really think it's not spiritual, or it's not okay to get paid to do spiritual work, go do a little bit of research on Michael Beckwith. Check him out. Extremely spiritual man, extremely well paid. Okay. So that's the first reason. Yeah. All right. Let's see. And the second reason is confidence. That's usually it. It's like, okay, if you're a CPA, we'll just use that example again. You've gone to school, you've learned how to crunch the numbers, you've learned about tax code, and you've taken a very difficult exam, which then allowed you to be certified as a public accountant. So you've sort of come with some credentials, right? And you feel confident saying, I'm a CPA, I'm an accountant, because you're certified. You have that piece of paper. Well, even if you have the piece of paper from somebody saying that you are a spiritual healer, if you don't believe it inside, it's going to be really hard for you to sell it, right? And so you'll end up just kind of giving your stuff away because you don't have the confidence to know that what you're doing is actually working. So the second issue is usually a confidence issue. So that's two things you can go work on if you're looking to get paid as a healer, which I highly recommend because it's like the best job in the world. I have the best job ever. So if you want that best job too, hey, you can get in touch with me. I can show you how to do it. Or you could go clear those two things, that it's not okay to charge for spiritual work and that you don't know if you're good enough, right? Confident. So I hope you'll do that. Lots of luck. And let me know. Hey, let me know how it all pans out. I'd love to hear from you. Go to facebook.com/askAmyAnything and drop me a line. All right, I'll talk to you soon. Bye.